Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is A Woman's Prerogative. We are streaming live from our studio here in New Jersey, our first day back up here in the Northeast part of the United States, so welcome. We truly do have a global show today, as our panelists are from a day apart, one in Hawaii in the United States and the other in New Zealand. Let's bring them out and hear about their stories and how they are helping change the lives of people all over. Welcome our full-time panelists, MARISKA. Hello.
Hello. Yes, and from New Zealand, of course.
Of course, from New Zealand. And of course, you are an ICF certified coach. You are the owner of your own business Journey to Discover, and you're a transformation and leadership coach. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. And of course, I am very happy to be at Women's Prerogative number 2 for today.
That's right. So for people who are unaware, we have another show, Women's Prerogative, which is our original episode time, which is at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is 8 o'clock British Summer Time. And now we have part 2, which is now 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What time is it there, MARISKA?
For me, it is currently 11 a.m. on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. We're here on a Monday. Beautiful. Well, we have a special guest who is joining us for this premiere episode, which is extremely exciting. And Megan was referred to us by Swanette, who is going to be joining us as a full-time panelist starting in June. So Megan Nolan is in Hawaii. Aloha. Love it there. She's a personal trainer. She's a yoga instructor. She's a mental fitness coach. And she is going to talk to us about our topic today, which is why self-care is a high ROI activity and a top priority. Welcome, Megan Nolan, to the program. Hello.
Aloha. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are thrilled to have you here. And of course, as you know, we're saying backstage, specifically MARISKA, about your background. How cool is it? I think we're going to be changing ours to be more like yours.
Thank you. I do get a lot of compliments on it. So thank you. Appreciate that.
You know, it's very soothing. It's very calming. And I feel like that ties in with our topic today. And something I just want to share, because I am definitely somebody who really needs help. When it comes to self-care, I put a certain amount of time in my schedule, but I'm a workaholic. Work. And even when I work out, I'm working. So I know that's not the best way to be vitality coach. What can you share with us about what self-care really looks and feels like when you're doing it the right way?
Yes, the quote unquote right way. Well, I think we can start there, actually, that the only right way is the way that lights you up, that is fulfilling and satisfying for your body. Because the truth is that when you show up for yourself, you are able to show up as your most grounded and happy and uplifted and centered self, the self that you really want to be showing up as in the world. And so, like you said, Dr. JACALYN, many of us are very passionate about what we do. And as such, we can get into the go mode, right? In the go mode. And it's hard for us to take a step back and press pause on the busyness of the day, which is why I'm a huge advocate for creating a meaningful morning routine. Because when you start the day with that intentionality and the foundation, you are literally giving yourself that window of time with you before you give yourself to the world through your work, being, involved in your community, your family, your team, whatever that looks like for you. You're giving yourself that moment of time. And it can be literally just a few moments, right? Going back to what you said at the beginning, what's the right way? Well, the right way is what's going to work for your schedule, and not getting dissuaded by the fact that you don't necessarily have an hour in the morning unless you do, knowing that that little window of time, whatever length of time that is really powerful if you use it to serve yourself, because doing so is really actually important, vital, in fact, because I believe, and I'm sure many of you will agree, that in order for you to be truly successful, you do actually need to be healthy and happy. Because when you look at success from a holistic perspective, which is what we're going to be speaking about today, of course, there'll be financial goals, impact goals, income goals, but emotional wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, purposeful wellness, that's all part of that. And those are all components of success. And so when you just take a step back and you realize that it is a vital tool, your body, I'm referring to, in order for you to get to the finish line of your goals, it actually should be a top priority for you. That's why doing it first is often really helpful, because not only does it, get you going, rev up your metabolism, oxygenate your body, is shown to potentially increase productivity by upwards of 72% when you exercise in the morning. So that's significant, but it really does set the tone for how you feel. And when you show up for yourself, it has a beautiful ripple effect into all areas of your life and does have a really great ROI, which we'll dive into.
I love that. So much great information there. Thank you. Before we dive into it, I want to go over to Mariska. And if you're open to it, would you share a little bit about your morning routine?
Ooh. My morning routine. Yeah. Let's see, other than getting out of bed, which hopefully most people do.
Is that an easy thing for you, or does that take it? Sometimes people have difficulty getting out of bed.
I think for me in general, I don't have a lot of difficulty to get out of bed. So I'm more tended to being a morning person than a late night person. So if this comes with a little bit of a caveat. If I had enough rest, so if I feel that I have slept sufficiently and I am rested, I jump out of bed. If that was not the case, I slowly crawl out of bed, but I still get out of bed. So other than that, my morning routine consists of a glass of lemon juice. Yes, it's not 100% only lemon juice. It has water with it. So it's about half a lemon and diluted with water. So that starts the system up internally, get the engine going, so to speak. And then, of course, I also love even if it is very brisk at the moment, because we are going into winter, a early morning walk. So that would be part of my exercise, that I get the blood flowing. So that's the main things that I normally typically try to incorporate into my morning routine. And sometimes I am able to take a half an hour walk, and sometimes it's more like a very quick 5-minute sprint around the closest environment that I have outside. So it might depend on the amount of time that I have in the morning, but that's the main things that I enjoy incorporating into my morning routine.
Thank you for sharing that. That's fantastic. I want to go over to Megan, who's the expert in this area. Tell us a little bit about your morning routine.
Well, I start with lemon water too. So same. It is really good for your body, great for your liver. And especially, most of us don't drink a lot during the night. And so it's really good to have a big glass of water, whether you want to do lemon or not, but have a big glass of water before you drink anything else. And yes, I do drink caffeine, so I have that a bit later, but I like to sit and do a little bit of journaling, gratitude journaling, connecting to my vision. I also really like to do tapping. So using the tapping on different pressure points to help soothe the nervous system while you're integrating new beliefs and new ways of being. And then I go from there into my workout. And so that varies for me too, depending on how much time I have, how much energy I have, what my body is asking for. But it usually integrates yoga and some dance breaks, because that's always fun. I think anything that we do ideally has fun to it, and that means, you know, you're more likely to do it again. So dance breaks and cardio and some strength training using some weights or resistance bands. And that's usually, you know, unless I have a lot of time, usually only about half an hour, 45 minutes of movement. And then I always finish up with some grounding. So as you mentioned, Dr. JACALYN, I do live on Maui, so it's always warm for me, which is nice. So I always get to be comfortable when I put my feet on the bare earth, but it's such a powerful way to really tap in and settle in for the day and connect to myself, connect to the space where I live, connect to, you know, for me, it's my angels and my higher power. And perhaps for you, it's maybe God or source or universe, but having that intentionality. So that's my power hour, if you will. And you know, all in, it only usually takes me about an hour.
Wow, I love what I'm hearing today. I need to take up some of these tips that you're sharing, both of you. I have two totally different routines because now I'm in New Jersey and part of the year I'm in Florida, and it's very different for a number of reasons. But usually I spend my afternoons exercising, and I do a lot of intermittent fasting. So this morning I just finished a 31-hour fast, which I don't think I'm doing again because I did not feel well today. But I always drink water when I first wake up. I always say my prayers. I'm very grateful that I woke up and have another opportunity to be on this earth. And then I usually get right into work because I have a number of things to do before I actually start broadcasting and my coaching. And so I find that quiet time in the morning is a good time for me. And then in the afternoon, I was going and doing the specific workout, which they don't have here. But I walked 3 miles today. I did my spinning bike for 45 minutes. I'll mix it up with weights and planks. So that's pretty much my routine, but not necessarily in the morning. Is that bad, Megan? Bad?
No, not bad at all. Actually, that's something that I'm sort of a huge proponent of, is that it doesn't actually have to be first thing in the morning. Of course, there is, as we mentioned earlier, some science behind revving up your metabolism and getting your body in strong posture and, you know, getting your mind right, if you will, and getting into that place of connectivity to your vision. So there is that element which, you know, can be used to encourage people to do it in the morning. But the reality is that if it doesn't work for you first thing, and or you're not a morning person, you can do it anytime. Let it be something that you have permission to do at any time that it works for your energy. Some people are kind of what I would call a night owl Nancy, and they don't have their energy until later on in the day, or maybe it's later on in the afternoon. And so again, it doesn't have to be done first thing in the morning for it to be an effective activity. So anytime, really, that's the most important thing, is that you're doing it. That's what's right, is doing it.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I was a personal trainer for a number of years, and when I was recruiting clients, I would hear this very frequently. I don't have time to take care of myself. I'm so busy taking care of him, her, them. I'm earning the money. I'm cleaning that, whatever it is. I'm taking care of the children. I don't have time for me. What do we think about this? Megan?
I hear it a lot as well. And that's the thing, is that when we have a lot of responsibilities, it's more important for us to take care of ourselves so that you can show up for those. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and they tell me that same story. I don't, what do you mean? I have so many things to do. My to-do list is a mile long. I just don't have the time. But the thing is that in order for you to do those things, you are necessary, right? And so the fact that you have a lot of things should hopefully reinforce the idea that this stuff is essential. And so making time for it actually will make all of that other stuff feel lighter. You'll be more effective. You'll be on point. You know, you're energized, you're clear-headed, you're grounded, you're more patient. Your stress levels are lower. So you've activated different parts of your brain that are the more higher functioning, more effective communicating, all of those different aspects. And generally, just a nicer person to be around when you're feeling good. So things tend to be a little bit more lighthearted, more flowing. And so I know that, that can be a story that our brain tells us, but our brain is also really good at telling us, to not do the things that we really should be doing and that will actually help us to stretch and grow. So it's definitely something I hear a lot too.
Thanks for sharing that. Mariska, as a transformation and leadership coach, how important is self-care in the success of people in their leadership roles and in transforming from one thing to another?
I will equate this to a well-run sports car. If you were to go to a Formula One track, we do not find that they start the race and go the whole race without even one pit stop. We don't. They need to take pit stops. They need to check their tires. They need to make sure everything is running the way it's supposed to be running. They need to make sure that they're filled up. Now, if a vehicle needs that in order to run a good race, that is time bound. So they run for a specific time and then they stop. And they can go back into their pit stop area and actually get more stuff checked and done, right? They have times that they're off in order to then to be ready for the next race. And as human beings, we don't do that. We need to start realizing that all of this is a well-oiled machine. The better we take care of it, the better it will take care of us. And,
nice analogy, by the way. I love that. Very good.
See, that comes from working with engineers.
My next question is, and I'm using myself as an example, when we are type A, I don't want to say psychotic or neurotic, but when we are, go, 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 and then today wake up feeling like we went because we were pushing too hard, what lesson can I specifically take from that? Because nothing changes, right? The work is still there. The pressures, the stress, in a good way. I'm not saying it's a bad way, in a good way, but it's still there. So Megan, at what point when we know we're going to be up against the wall, our back is up against the wall, green screen, that we know we've got deadlines, we've got all these things that we have to do. How do we actually carve out some, 15, 20, 30 minutes for a mental health break?
Absolutely. I think what you were sharing about the race car analogy is so perfect, because not only do they take pauses along the way, but the car is tuned up before they even start the race. So that's why the morning routine I find to be very effective, especially if we have a very full day. So whatever time you can allocate to that, if that's a morning routine thing for you, or putting it into your schedule throughout the day. And particularly, our brain likes to function and our body functions in spurts, just like the race car. So it's such a beautiful analogy, in spurts of go. And then we start to notice that sluggish feeling. And for many people, that's mid-morning, late afternoon, after we eat, or that's when we tend to want to go for another little pick-me-up, whether that's, a sugary treat or caffeination. So putting some breaks in. And I know if you're thinking, oh, well, that's not going to work, I have way too much to do. It can be as simple as, when you're drinking enough water, you should be stepping away from your workstation. So let's drink more water, because that's part of your fuel system, right? So drinking more water. And then before you go back, so say you go to the toilet and then you're going back to your workstation, just take a second. Literally, just take a second. Close your eyes, come back into your body, take a couple big deep breaths, and then go back. Because if we're always in that and we're not taking those power pauses, right, that's when we have trouble on the racetrack. That's when we have trouble with our productivity and our performance. So integrating those sort of breaks, even if it's just as little as close my eyes, take a couple of big deep breaths, that's helpful. But if you think about when you were back at school, when you were made to go out for recess, it wasn't just for the teacher's benefits. After all, it was actually for the health of your brain and your body. How can you integrate those little breaks? So it's great if you have a co-woofer at home, because they like to go for breaks and they will make you go. So take that opportunity to just stand outside while you're letting the dog out, while you're taking that little walk around the block. Take that opportunity to be in the moment. And we hear that a lot, right? Be in the moment, just be present, slow yourself down. And when the brain is going a million miles a minute, it will be screaming like, no, you don't have time for this. This is so crazy. But knowing that actually the most important thing for you to do in those high stress days and those go, go, go moments is to pause and to refresh, refuel, if you will, to stay with our analogy. That is actually the most conducive to you being and performing at the highest level. So integrating little breaks and starting the day with a little something, something, that's a great start.
Good points. Thank you. And again, great analogy. We're all in agreement with that. I have a question about a different kind of self-care, which I don't know if it actually falls under self-care, but let's discuss it. What about some pampering, getting a manicure, getting a pedicure, getting a massage, getting your hair done, getting Botox, get whatever. I don't know, getting whatever to make yourself feel better, but it requires taking time out of the schedule to go and have this pampering, which to me, it feels like torture. But for some people, it's pampering because I'm thinking I could do so much with this time right now. What are your thoughts about that? Mariska, are you someone who likes to have that kind of pampering?
On occasion. My one lecturer said that I was low maintenance, which is probably, I'm not the highest maintenance person on the planet. I do enjoy having those breaks though. And I think they are what I feel works for me really well is if I have my day set up in a way where I can take care of myself throughout the day. I don't need those pamper times as often because I can maintain a good cadence for a lot longer. So my endurance becomes so much better. And literally having, as Megan said, those short little breaks. And for me, it is a 5-minute break between meetings. So I never have meetings scheduled back to back, even if that means that my next meeting needs to start at 11:55, right? In order to give me a little bit of a break, then that's what I do. Nobody said we have to start everything on the hour or on the half an hour. It's not a rule. You can start it whenever the hell you want. So take your breaks and make sure that you actually plan them in. So if you have those 5-minute breaks planned in, it makes it a lot easier to take them than going, oh no, it's go, 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 go. And then I'm burned out by the end of my day. That in general for me doesn't work well. So having those pamper times, I typically take them about twice a year, other than the hair that needs a little bit more attention than that. But for me, that works. I don't really need a lot more than that. I think if I didn't schedule the days the way that I do, I might need a lot more of that. So that's for me.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. I think I used to be high maintenance, and now I think I'm very low maintenance because I do everything myself. I do my hair, I do my nails, and for massage, I do yoga because you can actually, move the blood around and get some of the tension out. But I was given a gift card from a family member for my birthday, and I got an hour-long pedicure. And when I tell you, they had oranges, rose petals, 6 different kinds of lotions. The chair was massaging and it was heated. And I was working on my computer, trying to work. And finally, I just stopped and said to myself, okay, why don't you just relax and enjoy it? And my point is, I did enjoy it, but then it was over. And of course, you have to take care of your feet on a regular basis. So I spent that hour and I thought, I don't know that I see the return on investment, but I wasn't paying for it. So then it seemed to be okay. Megan, what do you think about this? I really need help, right?
I like that you caught yourself because I can hear your desire to make the most of this opportunity. I'm sitting still, I should do some work while I'm here, but you realize, okay, let's enjoy the moment. But the thing is that, now that a lot of that work has been done, they've created if we stay with your feet, they've set you up to have them feel softer and have it be easier for you to go in and here and there, just kind of when after you have a bath or whatever, and just keep them nice. And so the thing is that if we do little things along the way, if we get inspired, like you're listening to this episode, you're getting inspired, and now you're feeling like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go do a workout, and you get into that groove, and then you keep going and you keep it up with little bits here and there, and taking these power pauses like we've been speaking to, just having these scheduled in breaks, then it will be easier for you to maintain. Whereas if we stop and we do nothing with our feet and we're going barefoot and we get to a point, or we do nothing with our health for a long time and we get to a point where we have a problem, then it takes us a lot longer to come back from it. And so the thing is, though, is that most people, myself included, will let it go for as long as possible before we deal with something. And a lot of people will wait until they get to the stage of being burnt out, or they have been sitting at their computer so much that, they can't turn their head to the right because their neck is so tight, until they start to take action. We often hear like it's way easier to sell painkillers than it is to sell vitamins, and so the preventative action is so important, and it really does add up. But a lot of times people won't wait till, they'll wait for a long time to take action. So what I'm saying is that if you can begin to find a routine that works for you, and you can do little bits here and there, and whether that is, enjoying the pedicure while you're doing a little bit of work or whatever it is, you will feel better and you will feel more inspired to keep it up, right? Because if you look down at your feet and you're like, whoa, these look good, then you want to keep them looking good, right? If you're feeling good and you're feeling sassy and strong in your body, then you want to keep that momentum going, right? And so it is one of those things that once you get started, it's easier to maintain.
I hear you. And I'm saying amen to Botox for that reason. Okay. So my next area that I really want to focus on, because I feel it impacts everyone, is our ability to sleep. Because if we're restless and we're not sleeping, then when the morning comes, we're dragging ourselves along. Mariska mentioned crawling. So Megan, any tips for us to have a beautiful night's sleep?
Yes. So our sleep is really impacted by activities all day long. And so when we are not sleeping well and we're having a lot of caffeine, then that will affect the quality of your sleep tonight, even if you don't feel like you're particularly caffeine sensitive. But want to lean into the point that we've been making about taking these little recharge breaks throughout the day keeps your stress levels and your cortisol levels down, because you're mitigating that spike throughout the day by just doing these little things to kind of soothe yourself, so that when we get to the end of the day, you're not so amped up, wound up. Oh my goodness, I can't sleep because I have 1,000,001 things to do. And let me get that to-do list because I got to write 5 things down, that sort of energy. So or you may get to that point, and here you can do the same thing, is that either hopefully we've taken the breaks and you're feeling like, okay, I can wind down, I can have a little bit of a routine. Having those breaks throughout the day is helpful, but then having an intentional routine at nighttime, especially if you are like myself and Dr. JACALYN, and maybe many of our listeners and watchers, that you do find that your brain is really, really go, 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 and it's hard to turn off. Sit down with a nice cup of tea and sit down and have some moments of gratitude before you go to sleep. What are some things that you were thrilled about through the day that went your way, or maybe that didn't, and what are the lessons you can learn? So have some time for reflection, and this can be done with a journal, or this can be done in the tub, and then write down whatever it is, like do a bit of a brain dump, if you will, so that throughout the night, your brain isn't waking you up to remember, oh yeah, make sure to send that email, like perking you up throughout the night. And so having that intentional wind down time at the end of the day, where you're away from your screen, and where you're, kind of following that framework of that natural winding down, like the sun is setting, if you will, your energy is gradually diminishing throughout the day. That tends to be really helpful, especially for people that are very high energy and very driven.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. What about you, Mariska? Are you the queen of sleep, and you've got some really great pointers for us?
Yes, in the sense that I am the queen of sleep. Nothing can wake me up once my head is on the pillow and I'm gone off to dreamland. All the best of luck waking me until the next morning. It can literally be storming outside and I won't wake up. On the other hand, my other half is not so lucky. And we have a tendency to have the same wind down routine, although I think my brain winds down a lot better in a sense than his does. And one of the things that I found for me is the making sure, so those times when I haven't been able to wind down is literally the times when I had a to-do list, the length of my arm that was waiting, and it felt right, like there was a lot of urgency to it. So I think for me, if I have any high emotional attachment to whatever is on my to-do list, that keeps me up. So ensuring that I can recognize what the emotional attachment is, and this might even be excitement. If I'm it's a little like when we were little and it's the day before Christmas and we're going to get our favorite present because we just know that it's under the tree, you excited. And the likelihood of you going to bed and sleeping really fast is reduced because you're excited. You're so excited about the next day. So even if the emotion that's attached is high excitement, I find it then difficult to wind down and go to sleep. So what I have found works for me is doing an activity that can get my brain out of thinking about the thing, and placing that emotion in something else. So sort of diverting it to something else. And for me, that's reading. So I will literally grab a book that I really enjoy reading and get into the story. So I live myself into that story. And then I would, at some point, preferably before 11, get to okay, I'm tired, and then close the book and then go to sleep. But that is one thing that I have found is my emotional attachments to the things on my to-do list. I need to be aware of them so that I can manage that for myself.
Oh, interesting. You're a good sleeper. I love that.
Yes.
I'll share a few things that I do to help me get ready before I go to sleep. I don't drink caffeine. I haven't had caffeine in years. I don't watch television, but I do like streaming services, obviously, because we're streaming. So I will go into bed at 10, and my watch lets me know I have a little thing. It's time to get ready. And so I will watch something on one of the streaming services for about 15, 20 minutes. Then I'll turn it off, and then I will go to sleep. And my phone is always next to me. And there really is no reason for that, except as a woman and being alone, take care of my mom. If I needed to make an emergency phone call, that's what I would have to do. But what I am really aware of is, since we have team members from all over the world, sometimes I only have a window of time to answer them before it's going to be too late, and then they're off to La La Land. So around 3, I start checking to see if I'm getting any messages that I have to answer. And I'm pretty much online on my phone between 3 and 5, and then I go back to sleep until 7. So I know it's not the best, the best answer, but I feel pretty good, thank goodness. Great. And her score is a 2. Okay, let's talk about healthy eating, because you live on an island. You've got access to things there, right, that people might not have in other places. What is it that you want to share about healthy lifestyle in terms of nutrition, Megan?
Well, I think one of the things that we hear a lot about, and we hear it because it's really important, is eating your fruits and vegetables. So I know some people are into it, some people aren't. And so that is so important for the health of your whole entire body. But eating a wide range of fruits and veggies actually does increase your productivity. How? Well, because when you're getting all of the different nutrients from the wide range of colors, and we all tend to kind of gravitate to the same ones. So be a little bit curious and creative, especially when the seasons change, bring in new foods. because they each have their own benefit. And when we have enough fiber and when we have enough of these nourishing foods in our belly, it actually helps to support your gut biome. So all of the good bacteria that you have in your belly that is really conducive to creating all of the other beautiful things that you need in your brain. So all of the neurochemicals that help you to be happy, that help you to sleep well, that help you to be productive and take action. A lot of them are created in your belly. So we often think they're made in the brain because that makes sense, but they're created in your belly and they're nourished and really created, essentially actually formulated by these different fruits and veggies. So that would be something that I would really lean into. And it's one of those things that we hear all the time and you've probably been hearing since childhood, but it's really for a reason. And so that's where I would really start, is to begin to explore a little bit more about how you can bring more fruits and veggies, hopefully fresh, but if they need to be frozen, that's okay too. But bringing them into your diet at all meals of the day. Like you can eat vegetables at breakfast. What? I know. It's crazy. You can put smoothie, you can make smoothie with berries and bananas, even put spinach and stuff in there. So see how you can sneak it in and make it yummy so that you enjoy it.
Wow, I'm getting hungry right now. Which, by the way, that brings up another topic. I'm going to go over to Mariska. What time do you stop eating during the day? Or are you a person who kind of just grazes and you're eating all day long? Maybe it's 10 o'clock at night, you find you're having a bag of chips. Or do you stop eating at a certain time?
Typically, for me, I don't eat much after 7 at night. So for what I have found is, and this was more while I was working, and sometimes you had those times where you had a breakdown and it was odd hours of the day that you had to do work and all the other fun stuff that comes with that, which means that you also had odd hours of the day to eat. If I, for some odd reason, missed my dinner and I wasn't able to do that before 7, my body is just like, yep, okay, I'm out. I really, if you're going to present food to me after 7 o'clock, I'll be like, nah, I don't really feel like eating. My body's like, yep, okay, be happy. That was it for today. Kitchen closed or tummy closed. I don't know, either or, which is not necessarily the way my other half does it. But that's the way that my body works. After 7, it's sort of go, yeah, okay, that's it. Don't want more food. And I think it's a listening to the body thing, plus most probably also a little bit of a routine thing. So depending on what routine it is that we exposed ourselves to, we might find it works different. How about you, Dr. JACALYN?
Yeah, I love that. Megan and I were talking briefly about our friend Red O'Loughlin, and he does his Talking Head series on longevity, and he speaks quite often about eating between a window of time. And then after that, there's no more eating. So I think it's 16 and 8, eating within 8 hours, and then 16 hours you're not eating. So I do try to follow that. It's not always easy, especially if you're going out to dinner. Hi, I'll meet you at 3 o'clock. No, I don't think so. So I do typically stay within that window. It's not hard for me because also I have ulcerative colitis. So my whole life I've had to watch what I'm eating and when I'm eating it. What about you, Megan? Are you somebody who, I know you're very disciplined, but do you have a cutoff time and say, that's it, I'm done after 3 or 7 or whatever your time is?
I eat more intuitively. I eat if I'm hungry, and if I'm not, then I don't. I find that for me, I've tried the different ways of, having my majority of my food in the morning and then eating less throughout the day. It just doesn't really work for me. I don't sleep very well if I'm hungry. And so for me, I've found that at dinner time to have protein and healthy fats seem to be the most effective. And then having a more protein rich snack before I go to sleep with very minimal sugar so that I have that nourishment in my belly, because otherwise it's just 1:30 in the morning, bing, I'm awake and I could probably run a marathon if I felt like it, but it really is not conducive to me feeling happy and sane when I wake up in the morning. So I like to have that, kind kind of later in the day meal for dinner and then a snack. And that seems to be really helpful for me.
Well, you look like you're filled with vitality, coach there. So
Thank you.
we've actually come to the end of our show. It went by so quickly. I'd love to have each of you share two things. And of course, I teach people how to listen. It's only supposed to be one thing at a time. We've got two things. The first thing is, what would you like people to reach out to you to help? What is the value that you can provide? So what is your value? And then how can people reach you? So let's start with our guest, Megan.
I would love to support you if you feel like you're in self-care overwhelm. If you know that you love doing all the things, but you can't figure out a way to make it all work without it taking all day, so that you can take care of you, so you can show up and be the shiniest, most, effective version of you. That's why I would love to connect, and I would love to support you. And so you're welcome to either pop over to my website, which is listed here, or I do have a really great resource if you go to minimorningroutine.com, and we can start there, and that will help you to start to create and get some ideas for your morning routine, because that's really what I would love to support you with.
Thank you, Megan. Would you please go over to the private chat and just type in that web address so we can share it with everyone? That would be fantastic.
Sure.
And Mariska, that's extra question I have for you. How do you feel at this later time, so that for a woman's prerogative, instead of getting up at the crack of dawn?
Well, I'll start with that question first. For me, it is good. I have now been able to actually go through my morning routine without feeling that I needed to rush anything, which is really good. So hopefully you guys are also experiencing a happier, healthier me, which we will have to see over time, of course. It is a little bit easier to experience that. And then for the other two questions was around value. Okay, so if you are a specialist moving into a leadership position, or a leader moving up within that space, that is the people that I can help, or that I enjoy helping. I really love helping people that is going through that transition space and figuring out how to bring more of the humanness into our work environment, and bringing our whole selves, not only the pieces that we didn't lock up in a closet somewhere. So it is good if you would want to bring the whole of you to your workspace. Everybody else will enjoy it, and I'm sure you will enjoy it a lot more too. To get hold of me, that is quite easy. Yes, there's a number 2 in there somewhere. So it is via my email address, which is mariska@journeytodiscover.com. Or alternatively, you can get hold of me via LinkedIn. And I would love to start our conversation, so please do connect.
Fantastic. And one more thing, Mariska, you are one of our expert presenters on Talking Heads. If you can let people know, what are some of the subjects that you share your expertise on?
Ooh, okay. Well, we have quite a few different ones that's already available. Some of these cover emotional intelligence. It also looks at when we actually just finished a series where we looked at the elements to consider when we are moving from a specialist into a leadership position, and what's some of the things that we need to take into consideration when we're doing that, in order for us not to derail and make a big mess out of something that we really want to make a success out of, as well as other leadership and humanness related topics. And are really excited about our new series that will be starting this week. So please do join us. And that is happening on my Friday, your Thursday, the Dr. Jacalyn, at, is it 6 o'clock?
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this week.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This week is 7. There you go. There you go. We'll sort it out. Thank you.
Very much. I have one more comment I want to share, which Megan, you're hearing this firsthand because Mariska doesn't even know about this and it affects her, is one of our dear friends, Dr. Madeline Chan in London, who is co-writing some of our children's books, the Lady Ella series that Mariska and I are also authors on. They are being read to children in London at a certain place. They have picked up some of our books, and you'll see on the bottom left, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 3 books, Lady Ella books, are available now, and the 4th one is going to be available June 26th. But the first 3 are being read to children in these facilities where Dr. Chan has been able to start reading and singing, which I think is amazing. So,
yay! So good.
Megan, is there anything you want to share about books? Anything that you want to talk about there?
Oh, well, thank you for that beautiful segue. Yes, there is something I would like to share about books. I just wrote my first one. Yeah. Thank you. Yes,
Wow.
I'm so excited. And all things ago, please, for a May 30th launch. So we're finalizing everything. So it is called The Warrior's Journey, Ancient Wisdom for the Modern Entrepreneur, to help you to harness your inner strength and power and go charging forward on your beautiful soul's mission and create the impact and income that you're destined for. So stay tuned for more info on that, because yes, that's coming out soon. So thank you so much for the invitation to share on that. I'm grateful.
You are welcome. I'm super excited. So thank you, Megan, for joining us. Thank you, Mariska. And thank you to those of you who are watching live or listening live or on the replay. We want you to listen whenever you want. Watch, listen at your leisure, because I'm not watching anything right now. I'm working. I'll be watching something before I go to sleep. So we do appreciate you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope you have a beautiful day, afternoon, evening, whatever it is that you're enjoying, and we'll be back again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.